So I'm here with Miss Stephanie Gooden, the creator and founder of Vickery Trading Company, which is where we are right now. So I chose her to be my bright muse today. So tell me about a quick recap of the idea.
We hire refugee women and train them to sew. Our mission is to equip refugees for long-term success through vocational training, personal development, and fair wages. So we train them to sew. They sew our children's clothing line. And 25% of every workday we spend in personal development. So they're getting ESL, reading, handwriting, typing, all of that good stuff. And then we pay them fair wages for their work.
Yeah.
You know, refugees are coming often from refugee camps or war-torn countries, and they get here and they're shuffled through old dusty government offices with the leftovers of everything. So we wanted a place that they could call home that would be bright and happy, clean and comfortable, and a really healthy work environment, both physically healthy but also emotionally healthy as well, a place where they can feel loved as they are healing from trauma, dealing with everything that's new and settling into their new life here, and to give them the encouragement of a skill that they can use to earn money to help their families.
So this is a transitional place primarily is what it's set up for.
Yes, it's a training program. So they come in and they will eventually graduate about 15 to 18 months after they enter the program, depending on how well they're doing in their English, really. The sewing they pick up pretty quickly. But the English, we want to make sure that they're able to thrive outside of the program before we say, okay, you're done, you know, you're good to go out on your own, that kind of thing. And they really don't fully go out on their own because we're still always available to mentor, help, provide connections, networking.
Yeah, resume building, things like that.
Yeah, before they graduate, we go through resume preparation, help them to understand that. We help them build a resume, help them to know how to fill out applications, go through mock interviews, that kind of thing.
Yeah. How did this come about?
5 minutes from my house, there's a neighborhood that has about 20,000 refugees.
20,000?
Yeah.
What's the square mileage of that? Do you know?
It's about 3.5 square miles. There's about, depending on the study, somewhere between 35,000, 40,000 residents in the neighborhood. In this 3.5 square miles, and about 15,000, 20,000 of those are refugees. Yeah. And it's about 5 minutes from where we live, and I realized there's a lot of the same need right here in Dallas. The same lack of access to education, lack of opportunity to work, and so a lot of the things I wanted to do overseas, I didn't have to go overseas to do that. Yeah. I just had to kind of create opportunity here.
That's cool. And this is a very personal business too. You don't just leave and go home and drop it all, right? This is very, I saw online, and I could hear you in the background, you were giving driver's ed, basically. And they know your family, they see your family. Your job isn't really clock out, go home.
Yeah, no, it's not. We've chosen to invite our family and our kids into the process. So my kids are up here at the office, especially during the summer. They're here more than during the school year. They're in school. Really, they're the same in so many ways. And to teach my children that. And they're not afraid of someone who dresses differently or speaks a different language, and has a different color skin. And so that's been really cool. This is really a place where relationships are started, and then they really continue outside of the walls.
Well, I loved your quote that I saw in an interview about realistic expectations. I think it was expect it to be, when you're launching a startup, expect it to be 5 times longer, 10 times more expensive, and I think it was, I'm a numbers person, 85 times more frustrating than you expected, and then double that, and then you will be semi-close to a realistic expectation. It's hard. That is so hard. Do you feel like that your experience has been true to most startups, or is this unique?
This is really the first business startup I've done. I've started another nonprofit, and that was definitely hard as well. But absolutely, and especially in this context, because you're not only dealing with the unknown expense and timeline of a normal startup, but I deal regularly every day with 6 extra cultures. I have women from different countries and different languages, and they come with a different worldview and expectation, and
It's complicated.
sometimes having to problem solve between a mom and the child care worker downstairs, but do that between 3 cultures and languages complicates it a lot, and not understanding why. But I said this 5 times very clearly, and it still didn't get done. And it's not that I said it wrong, and it's not that they're being rebellious employees. There's just a huge culture gap.
Right.
So we kind of have an extra layer, or 15 extra layers of complication there. But yeah, I just kind of had to remove the option in the beginning that I was going to quit. I just had to set that aside, because if that were an option, I would have probably quit a long time ago. But I love these ladies. I mean, I love coming to work. The business part is hard. The sales, marketing, that's not, my background, my bent. If you've heard me say that a lot. Nothing seems to have been my background.
Well, it just goes to show, if your heart and your determination, you can learn. You can learn that stuff.
Yeah, I've done a lot of Google searching, a lot of networking with people that do know what they're talking about. Yeah, exactly. I've pulled in a lot of seasoned professionals around me, or retired vets from the industry. It's like when you teach your kids to read and you see that light come on and they can finally read on their own. I get to see that every day in about 10 different areas with these ladies.
Wow.
When they can finally write a letter, when they can finally read a Bob book, because they're starting at the same level as our kids, as our kids do in kindergarten.
Right.
And to be able to see that every day, that's what makes me want to show up.
What is your long-term, do you see a long-term vision for BTC? What do you want for that?
Really, Vickery Trading as it exists now is designed to be an incubator for the model. We're trying to figure out the model, especially what's the most effective life change. How does our education program work inside of this? It's another group of marginalized people that just need help getting up and out of poverty and into employment. And so there's lots of ways that it can kind of grow from there, but we're still working on really getting the model down. Is there a way for us to, vertically integrate? Can we make our own fabric and implement, which is a huge dream, can we implement that process, probably overseas? Can we provide an opportunity for farmers to grow cotton, to make our own fabric, but implement our care model into that at the same time, so that we are fully confident, literally from the ground up on our clothes, in this example, that the people that are working for us are being cared for and treated with dignity, and treated as I believe humans should be treated, and employed as, with dignity as I believe that they should be. What are ways that we can expand our impact with the model from what we're doing here? But that's huge dreams. So, I mean, I always have...
It's totally possible.
Yeah, I've always got... I mean, I have an endless list of dreams.
That's good.
So we'll just wait and see. But for right now, we are trying to work on little girls' dresses.
Got it. Love it. And then last question. So you go home. You've had a hard day. I mean, just exhausting. Mentally, emotionally exhausting. When you hit the pillow, what is it that makes you want to come back and do this again?
That's a good question. On the hardest days, it's really hard. It's really hard. On the hardest days, it's like, why in the world am I doing this? So the fact that I have 10 families depending on me to show up, sometimes is the only thing. Most days it's not hard. Most days I'm excited to come in and it's not a problem, but some days I'm like, I don't feel like I have a choice, because I would be letting these families down, and I love them and I care about them and they do matter to me, because I do know their names and faces, and we're still small enough now that I still know what's going on. I know when their babies are sick and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's really what keeps me going. So our website is vickerytrading.org, and on Instagram and Facebook we're just Vickery Trading Company, and we're pretty easy to find. And yeah, we've always got fun stuff going on, and we highlight tons of progress with the ladies on social media quite often.
Whether or not, it's good, we were born with privilege. And I love that you're using your privilege to share that with others, and not, we could be doing so many other things.
Oh,
And you
absolutely.
could be doing so many other things, and I love what you're doing here.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, thanks for being my bright muse, Stephanie.
Sure thing.